Alright, so we're here at the Rolex 24. This is so cool. I'm sitting in the winning car. So let's go see what trouble I got into earlier.
On the spot.
For younger families thinking of getting their kids started into racing, can you explain a little bit about your personal experience getting started? How did your journey start and how much support did it take to get you this far?
For me, it started, I think, as most people, it does, and I think it needs to, as a genuine interest from my side. I'm the first one in my family that's ever been interested in racing, so it was my nagging on my parents to get going that sort of started it off. And then I had the love and the support from them that we bought my first go-kart when I was 7, and then we drove to a race in Sweden and started off from nothing, not really knowing how everything worked and everything. So just started from the ground basing, enjoying ourselves, and then quite quickly I became used to winning races and loved the feeling of winning and like standing at the top of the podium. So that will sort of drive me forward and push me to where I am today.
That's really cool. What is about the opportunity to race an IndyCar that appeals to you so much right now and not any other forms of motorsport?
I think let's put it this way, the dream was always Formula 1. And obviously I'm from Sweden and started in Europe and climbed along the ladder and did F3 in Europe, but quite quickly I realized how difficult it is financially to make the next step happen. And obviously I've always had a keen eye towards IndyCar as well, because with Formula 1, those are the 2 top single-seater championships in the world. So obviously knowing that and looking at the scholarship that is on the road to Indy ladder, that was sort of made the decision for me to come over to America. Made Formula 3 happen in America, won that championship and got the scholarship that enabled me to do Indy Lights last year, and then hopefully I can pull it together and do another year this year and win the championship and then hopefully go to IndyCar. So yeah, basically it's the scholarship that made me go here.
Nice. Maybe we'll see you in Indy one day.
Yes, yeah, that's the target. I mean, if everything goes well and we do the Indy Lights this year and hopefully win the championship, then one of the 3 races that you're guaranteed is the Indy 500, so it would be cool.
If you had to choose between winning an IndyCar championship or winning the Indy 500 as your driving legacy, what should be a bigger accomplishment for you personally, and what sets them apart? 500,
it's gotta be. I think this is my 3rd year in America, and I think just the first year I got the feeling of how big the Indy 500 is for everyone. I think that the main target for all teams is to win the 500. If you can't win the 500, you gotta win the total championship. So I gotta say the 500 first, and then we can win the championship.
And as far as IMSA, do you see yourself eventually moving up to prototypes at some point? Is that something you plan to work on over time?
I mean, for sure, the prototypes looks awesome, and I think driving-wise, I think they're more similar to a single-seater than the GT car is, so almost in one sense, it would be easier for me to actually drive that car and this car, but I think you learn so much and you get better as a complete driver of having the pit stops and the strategy and fuel saving that you don't have in the single junior series. So hopefully, the target is IndyCar, but when the opportunity comes, I'll be more of a complete driver.
What has been the most difficult part so far? What have you already learned the hard way on the road to Indy you wish you would have known sooner?
I mean, quite early on, I realized that it is super tough financially to make this happen. I mean, that is always the #1 priority. To even go racing, you need a budget. So I usually say that I spend more time off track chasing sponsors and partners than I do on track with the racing side, because I know that unless I have a budget, I'm not going racing. So I think that's one thing that everybody needs to bear in mind as well if they want to go into this game, that if you want to make it as a professional racing driver, you're going to need some budget, and you're going to have to learn to talk to sponsors in front of a crowd and make things happen. So yeah, that's the one thing that I learn and I take with me even today.
Alright, and that is it here at the Rolex 24. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a great race, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. I'm gonna get in this bad boy.